Hi everybody, this is AJ with Car Inspected. Today we are in North York and we're looking at this 2005 Infiniti FX35 all-wheel drive 3.6 liter V6. It's champagne-ish in color and has 192,000 kilometers on it. We'll verify that, I forget the exact number. It's overall in not the greatest of shape, to be honest. There is a good amount of damage, a couple of rust spots that we're concerned with, things like that. You can see some rust on the B pillar here, some damage on the blacked out trim, some of the rubbers starting to rot, things like that. There is a rust spot here. It's on the driver's side quarter panel, along with a scratch there. Again, there's a couple of bumps and bruises throughout. The rear bumper does have some damage on it. As you can see, it looks like it might have been in a minor rear or scrape. See some damage in the license plate where it looked like the bolts were ripped out. And again, some damage of the rubber around here. There's a couple more scrapes on the passenger side. I did find some paint work was in the two front fenders. Possible just a repaint and clear. They were a little thicker than usual on both of them, but the rest of the vehicle, I think there was some paint work in this quarter panel as well, but it needs it again. But other than that, the rest of the vehicle seems to be original, unpainted condition. I verified all the windows are all seemingly original. They all have their security codes in them, which this vehicle has this security code, something Infiniti does, throughout the whole vehicle. Even on all the engine parts, things like that. This code is found throughout. So it is all original. This windshield is a PPG unit, so this may have been replaced at some point, but it was replaced correctly, and I see no signs of damage. As you can see, the headlights are a little faded, but they're not damaged or cracked or anything. Just like the taillights, they're okay. Looking at the wheels and tires, we find they are a little worn. These are produced in 2014, and they have about 4 to 5 30-seconds throughout. However, they are pretty worn on the outsides, as you can see, and a little dry, rotten, and cracked. The dealer did state that they will safety the vehicle and replace tires and brakes as needed. Front rotors, a little rusty, bit of a lip on them. Pads are, I'd say, 40% left. Suspension components, right here, I don't see any rips in the boots or anything like that. As you can see, there is a good amount of surface rust, a little crustiness here and there. That is throughout the undercarriage. I'll show you some other spots that I'm concerned with. I do believe this to be a Quebec car, so it did have some rough winters in its life probably, and hence some rust issues. Again, 2014 tire with fairly worn tread. Brakes are the same on this side as they are the other side, about 40% or so left. And again, these rotors are getting old. Suspension components, though, they don't seem to be damaged or dented or anything, but you can see some more rusty flake throughout. There's a little bit of looks like there's a bit of a trans leak. As you can see, the little wetness on the trans pan there. And again, a little rust throughout, a couple of loose bolts and things like that. One of my bigger concerns is there is some rust in the frame rail here on both sides. I will show you the other side as well. But you can see that big bubbling through. That's, I'm sure if you took a hammer or a screwdriver to that would be a big hole. So that is a bit of an issue. Exhaust has been repaired in spots, original in spots. There is some rust in the rear portion of the rockers here, as you can see, just kind of starting. And again, a lot of the supports underneath, a bit scaly. things like that. Get to the back tires, we find matching 2014 Michelins. Rear rotors are pretty bad. They're pretty rusty and pretty gouged, as you can see. The pads are pretty gone. They're probably 15% left, maybe. When we test drive it, I bet they'll even squeak. We'll see. But again, the dealer did say he would change the tires and brakes as needed. Again, these are pretty low. I think just 4 to 5 30 seconds. But they are worn on the sides. You can tell they have been loved. More scaliness, a little rust on the edges here. We do have some exhaust rust here. In the tailpipe, there is a good size hole here. So it does need some exhaust work to be safetied, things like that. And suspension components, a little rusty. I don't see any damage, but they are a little rusty. This last tire, again, we find the matching 2014 with pretty pooched rotors and pads as well, just as bad as the other side. Can't really see them in this. And again, some more rustiness here coming through. This frame rail as well. So both driver and passenger frame rails do have a good amount of rust in there. Right there. Go through the interior, which is pretty well worn. It's a storage compartment. There are a couple of floor mats here, 2 to be precise. The passenger and the rear seat. Underneath there, though, the storage compartment is in pretty good shape. No damage in the carpet or anything like that. On the sides, there is a little damage. Minor damage on the carpet there. Underneath here, we do find the spare and emergency kit. It is all in place. Appears to be in decent shape. Along with the Bose subwoofer in there. But again, it does seem to be in decent shape under here. Both compartments are there. I see there is a little bit of damage, scrapes, things like that on the tailgate, as you can see. Go to the back. This driver's side rear door panel seems to be in decent shape. No major issues. We look inside. The rear seat is a bit dirty, but I don't see major rips or tears or anything like that along here. Some stains. Cup holder is there and works. Carpets are in decent shape. Some minor stainage here and there, but they are okay. Not ripped or wet or anything like that. Back of the seats look decent. A couple of stains, as you can see, but they're not ripped again. There is some more rust in this door jamb as well, as you can see. So that's going to be an issue fairly soon. But you can also see that there is some damage to the weather strip here and there. See, passenger side or rear door panel is in, again, decent shape, no major damage. The passenger side rear seat is in similar shape to the other side. A little dirty, but nothing's ripped or torn or anything like that. Seat belts are all decent, by the way. The floor on this side looks okay. A little stained and dirty, just from age and wear. A little bit of rust here, and this side as well. For the passenger side front now. Look at this door panel, and it is in pretty decent shape. No major issues. See a good amount of wear from an arm on these edges. Carpet again is kind of dirty. Looks like it's been shampooed, but it is just stained and worn from age. Front seats are pretty worn. Seat belts are okay, but there is a good amount of scrapes and broken leather along the edges here. This one does work. All the electronics seem to work. No owner's manual in the vehicle, but the glove box does work. We look at the dash. There is some major separation issues with the dash. All throughout, you can see the vinyl separating or leather separating. Very strange. It must have been boiled in the sun, but it is throughout the top of the dash and even starting down here some. And I'll show you the other side as well. Headliner seems to be in good condition. No major issues. Go to the driver's side. This is the door panel. Some kick marks, things like that, but nothing ripped or damaged for the most part. This driver's side seat is very worn. As you can see, in my opinion, it looks like it's worn more than 192,000 kilometers, which does leave me a little suspect. Or it was just very badly taken care of. This carpet, same condition, kind of dirty, stained underneath, as well as this. As you can see, the dash top, again, is just as messed up and damaged on this side. Steering wheel has a good amount of wear on it. Throughout. As well as this dash, it is a bunch of scrapes, scrapes, some stains and damage throughout the console. Cup holder is there. So all that does work. Here's one key with the vehicle. Again, more damage on the shifter there. And what could have happened there. But you see there is damage on these armrests as well. They do slide forward as they should for comfort. And they also open, which I don't see any major issues. They work, which is good. I will show you the odometer. As you can see, at 194, I said 192, 194, 494. The service engine soon light is on. And the engine is a little noisy. From the exhaust, you can hear the exhaust. Leak. Air conditioning seems to be working. I will try the heat and everything more on the test drive. But all this stuff, display seems to be working. Visors, they're there, they work just fine. And it does have a sunroof, which seems to work as it should. I'm gonna look under the hood real quick. The service engine suit light is on. I did find a multitude of codes, many solenoids, bus terminals, things like that. There was some trouble communicating with the computer, so there are a good amount of computer issues. You will see them all in the report. Here is the 3.5 liter V6. I don't see any major issues under here. The belt looks to be in decent condition. Belts, multiple. This one may be a little bit of dry rot, but it's not too bad. They should be okay for a while though. Hoses seem to be okay. There is some surfacey rust throughout, but I don't see any major leaks or anything like that, which is good. Tested your oil. It is pretty low right now, but it did test fine. We have no contamination issues. I tested your coolant, which would be over here. And again, it looked nice and clean. I didn't see any oil in it or any signs of issue, and it also tested for negative 43 or below. So you're good there. Your brake fluid is under this panel right here, and it tested at a little over 3% humidity. So fairly soon it should get flushed and changed. You can see your air filter in here looks pretty dirty. That's something that might want to be changed soon as well. Your battery under here, the terminals are pretty corroded. Oh, it doesn't want to open. There are photos though. The terminals are pretty corroded, and but it does. Yep, it won't open for me. But it does charge fine. It's sitting at 12.2 and 14.6 charging respectively. So the charging system is working and the battery is okay, but the terminals do need to be cleaned. Here's a VIN verification, by the way. It is all over the vehicle. And as I stated, that security code is everywhere, which is pretty interesting. All hand etched. They do this to make sure all the parts are original, you know, if anything's been replaced. Pretty amazing. Under the hood is okay, no major issues, no rust or anything like that, but there is a good amount of rust the rest of the vehicle. So we're going to take it for a test drive now, see how it runs, how it stops, how it steers, etc. And we'll let you know in the report. But again, this is AJ with Car Inspected. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.